Welcome to another live episode of Halftime Adjustments. It's your host, Eddie Arnell, my man G Witt, Mr. J. Lou.
I know, baby. I know.
Tighten up, man. Another open practice on yesterday, Saturday.
Yeah.
Another practice today. We'll talk a little bit about today's practice, even though we weren't there. But yesterday, another glimpse at the 2025 Tennessee Titans for the public. And, man, very interesting day. Good practice, though, overall.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna start on special teams because there was really, and you can see this year, and this is just for J. Lou because him and his guy Coach were such good buddies. Bones had a whole period of special teams, 10-minute period. Right?
Yeah, 10 minutes.
10-minute period. And J. Lou, go ahead, man. Talk to us about special teams. I know it's so near and dear to your heart.
So y'all know I got PTSD the past 2 years yelling at good old Colt up in the stands. I looked at Ed yesterday and I said, man, I don't think I'm gonna have to yell at Bones this year. I'll tell you one thing, he's got his hands from being, at the training camp yesterday. He was actually on the sideline and they worked. That special teams period was the nearest field to us. Okay. And when I tell you he has his hands and technique on everything we saw them work on, so they did a lot of punt drills. So they were using the machine. Jug machine to send the balls out, but they were working on blocking from not only the return side, but from the kickoff team. And he had linebackers, he had tight ends. I feel like we saw every starting tight end, every starting linebacker with the exception of Cody Barton. And then your returners, they were just catching the ball and making cuts. And, nothing, and then after the practice, you heard him speak that he's looking forward to hopefully trying to get some 11-on-11 special teams before they went down to Tampa this week, if they could, because they didn't go 11-on-11 to really get it there. But you can see, just from a coaching technique standpoint, that the punt game, as far as kicking and return, looks a little bit more technically sound. And being there in person, I'm 99.9% sure that Bryce Oliver has a spot on this team.
I don't see how he's not on this team.
I don't see how he's not on the team.
We'll talk more about that in a second. Man, but appreciate you. Will, man, good to see you. K-Lou in the building. Dion, glad you made it, my friend. Day. Glad to see you too, brother. Eddie, great, man. Appreciate y'all joining us tonight, man. But the emphasis, man, you can really see it after the debacle the last couple seasons. Stacey Townsend, appreciate y'all. Appreciate you too. She said from Killeen, Texas. There you go. I like that, man. Appreciate you joining us tonight. Joey Sly, though, we kind of talked about Joey a little bit last time we were on. He makes the big 66-yard at the stadium, but then struggles yesterday.
Yeah.
He missed 4 field goals, 37, 43, 45, and 54. Now, they were putting him in different scenarios, which is, I love the way they were running camp. They're running camp from what we got to see, and then what they report out of course, is that, putting them in a lot of different scenarios, running them on the field in quick change situations. And, he struggled. He struggled. We were talking about, why is this kicker on the market if he can make a 66-yarder? So now we see why. There's inconsistency.
Yeah, but that's his history, because I looked it up and everything, because that was my first thing. You see him boom a 66-yarder, and you're like, okay, this doesn't make any sense. Why isn't this guy on somebody's team already? And you see it in his past history. He's really, on field goals, he's about 85, 87%, and that's not good enough for the NFL and everything. He's actually pretty decent on PATs, but his percentage is way down on it's not good enough, I'll put it like that. And mainly it's because of consistency. I mean, he's got records. I think he set a record for the longest field goal in New England. He set the record for the longest field goal, I want to say, in I think it was the Giants or the Commanders.
Mm-hmm.
And so, he has some long field goals that he's made and everything. But again, like you said, what you saw yesterday, his consistency is his biggest issue. And I think that's one thing that when they interviewed the coach and everything, he was talking about trying to get him to be consistent. But the one thing I did like about him was when he talked about the punter, and he talked about the different balls that he has as far as being able to kick him a different way. He's got a knuckleball that he said it's really kind of crazy how it goes. It doesn't really go end over end. It goes sideways and it spins like a top.
Yeah.
Oh, that's got to be crazy.
So it's not a bad thing to have your most veteran players as your special teams guys.
Right.
Exactly.
So, him and Morgan Cox, a lot of years in the league. And so, it's still work in progress, as is the whole team, because it's so young and coaching staff is in year 2 of their scheme. And so, but going back to what Jay Lou was talking about, man, the punt returner. So Proche, that's his game, right?
Yeah.
But also Chimere DK, Jay Lou. I don't know how if people can understand when they say he runs a 4.34. I mean, it's legit.
It's legit. I see. Again, it's one thing to see this speed on TV, but when you 20 yards away from on the field as close as you get to be in training camp, that 4.3 is legit. And I feel comfortable. And again, I preface it by saying they're catching from the jugs machine. There's nobody rushing down. I mean, we still saw Jaquan have Jaquan issues, but
a little bit.
He had a little bit issues. But I felt comfortable looking and seeing how these guys, their first move from catching the ball, like there was no hesitation there. They boom, boom, cut and go. And I think right now when they roll out in the preseason game, I think you see DK, Proche. Now I think they still throw Jaquan back there. I think those would be the 3 that you will see punt return. Restrepo was back there for a little bit. You even saw Spears back there returning some. But I think for training camp purposes, I think that your battle probably is between Proche and DK to be your starting returner.
So to your question, Eddie Gray, he says, what is DK's change of direction like? I mean, he's got some great side-to-side movement. And in fact, in the drills that they were running, as the gunners were coming down, they actually had to cut and change direction between them. And so you saw him not lose speed when doing that. And so that's how I knew he was really fast, because if he can change directions and still keep his top end, that's pretty impressive for the rookie. And not to mention that I don't even know, you don't really get a chance to see how big these guys are until you get by him. And he's a pretty good size guy. I think he's listed at 6'1". And he's every bit of 6'1", if not a little bit taller. And so I think we're in a good position. The problem is, making this team. How are you gonna make this team? Because it's gonna be a problem in the receiver room, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. But overall, special teams is better. You see the emphasis put on it. And hopefully, they won't have my man Jay Lou stroking out this year.
Please.
Being ready to walk down on the field and fire the coach. Defense wins the day yesterday for me, Jay Lou. I don't know about you, but you saw the run defense, which we've been talking about, been an issue for this team last year. We see the emphasis put on it. We see, a lot of people say, is that because the offensive line is not good, or is the defense that much better? So, Jay Lou, go ahead, man.
So I'm glad that that's a great segue, because you're reading all the reports and you think the sky's falling because Cam's having a bad day or offense have a bad day and they're up and down. I'll tell you this from seeing it and seeing this team 2 years in a row now. The offense is new, and by that I mean you've got a lot of more new pieces on the offensive side, including the quarterback. Defensive wise, you have a new piece, and that new piece you have is the quarterback of defense. And I say Cody Barton, but the rest of those pieces, for the most part, are the same. So you see, I think yesterday was the final install of the training camp playbook wise for the offense they installed yesterday. Where defense, you can tell yesterday the defense is probably 3 steps ahead as far as the install, etc. Now I will also say, no news sometimes is good news, because this time last year, I think we all knew that we had an opportunity with the offensive tackles. I'll be out there, and you don't get beat. It's the NFL, top 1%. But I'll tell you this about the offensive line: Dan Moore, quiet is good for him. We saw him get beat 1 or 2 times yesterday, but then you seen him do some recoveries. And I'll tell you this, and it's one thing me and Ed talked about. We picked up on it in practice, at least. They're putting a lot of formations out there where they are not trying to have the tight ends help on the tackles. And
no, not at all.
As quiet as it can, even when there was pressure yesterday, there still was you got a quarterback now that has pocket awareness that was stepping up or maneuvering out of the way to not cause those sacks. But I will agree, defense was ahead, especially when you got to red zone. The Titans were very sloppy in red zone yesterday. But I mean, I didn't walk away from that. I didn't walk away from yesterday's practice in person worrying about the offense. I mean, you're going against, again, arguably, you can tell the defense is throwing the kitchen sink at him. They're more ahead, and they know you. They've seen you for the last 2 weeks. So let's see how you look this week of going against somebody who hasn't seen you.
That's the thing about it when Denard Wilson had his presser yesterday, and he mentioned that about throwing the kitchen sink, but he also mentioned the fact that, the one thing they do like about Cam is how cool he acts, and, the fact that he doesn't get rattled. He may make a mistake, he may throw an interception, but you see him get right back up, come right back at him. So, I'm not overly concerned about the offense. I am interested to see how they're going to do against Tampa Bay this week because, Todd Bowles is going to throw some things at him as well. But I think they're doing Cam a tremendous favor by throwing everything they can at him. And like you mentioned, it's the second year of this defense with Denard Wilson and everything. So you got players, even James Williams mentioned it about coming back this year, how he's not thinking as much. He's trusting his eyes, paying attention to his keys, and reacting off of that, and has allowed him to play a lot faster. And they even mentioned that about him. And Callahan mentioned about how Cedric Gray is also playing a lot quicker. So, yeah, the defense is going to be well ahead of the offense this year in this training camp right now. But I think what you find is that the offense, if they can just get together and start putting together some consistency, you'll see things pick up for them. One thing they said is really is that the running game is looking pretty good, but the defense is still playing really solid and everything. With Cody Barton being the quarterback for the defense, calling the plays and everything, you see them well ahead of the offense and actually making some really good headway. So I'm interested in seeing the defense on Saturday as well.
But yeah, so Draymond Jones is actually looking. I mean, you could say it either way, right? He's been lining up on Dan Moore a lot. He's been getting the better of him the times that we saw yesterday. JC is looking pretty good. Zietler was looking pretty good. The offensive line overall looks better. And going against the defense, like you said, Jeff was in the backfield all day. He's always, you can hear it's too easy. They better stop double teaming him. That's why they double team. Kevin Winston Jr. Look, I'm gonna tell y'all, so yesterday they started off in a nickel 4-2-5. He started. He's in the starting. As one of the safeties. As they had three safeties. And so it's gonna be hard to keep him on the field. He fits so well in the run game. You saw him coming up. He covers. He plasters to his man. And so, and then again, another good find in the draft. Again, James Williams, again, it's his job to lose at this point. He's having a great camp as well. We saw, speaking of Ali Gay, I think you mentioned him, J. Lou, on the punt, the special teams session. We saw a little athleticism for the big man. Now, not only was he running down as a gunner, right? He also had an interception. He ran back.
It would have been a pick six.
Yeah,
it would have been a pick six.
He ran all the way back, had a little stiff arm and all that. Yeah. Okay. He's 6'6", 265. He's a pretty big guy running that fast. And so, the defense is ahead, as you would imagine, in camp. Usually the offense is a little bit, a couple steps behind the defense. But overall, you like the defense. You like the energy they're bringing. And then, of course, because offense is still young at this point, but you like Cam, too, coming back. Mention the left tackle situation. It's still a work in progress. Let me answer some questions real quick. Shout out to my pops. He's on tonight. Eddie Gray says, you think we should trade for McLaurin? Taylor says, no, it's a smoke screen. My opinion, I wouldn't trade for Terry. And the only reason why, because he's already 30. This is a team they're trying to build. I would go out to Parsons. That's my opinion. So you talking about generational talent. Man, Jay Lou was talking about this yesterday at the practice. You talking about a generational talent that Mike Borgonzi already mentioned that they were willing to look at, right? Now, I don't know if Jerry is that crazy But I mean, it's worth a call. Like, hey man, let me see what
Jerry
you want.
Jerry said Michael ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, he said that. He did. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's gonna get ugly before it gets better for Dallas. But yeah, so left tackle, Daddy Callahan was had a little interview and he was talking about they working on a lot of different scenarios with Dan Moore, putting him in a lot of different situations. He's responding well. Jaylen, you mentioned him yesterday. He had a couple times he had some issues, but other than that, he's kind of quiet. Hey, you're right. He was kind of quiet.
He's not quiet. I mean, it wasn't like he was getting blown by and beat every play.
Right. Not every play. You're right.
My bad. I didn't mean to
cut you off.
It popped in my head. Somebody that I got to give credit to so far that we were hard on last year, and that's Duncan.
Yes.
Duncan he's definitely tackle number 2. He is your backup, and he looked like, I feel like the one-on-ones that we saw with them yesterday, and even in second team reps, you noticed him a lot from run blocking and from pass blocking. And I mean, me and Ed sitting there talking. That's why I told him, I was like, it's amazing what coaching does. Because this was the same guy that was a part of the team last year and very raw. But you can tell, again, that second year up under Daddy Callahan's system, you can see his technique and stuff. And I'm ready to see him in some of these preseason games and see him put it on the field, because I feel like in the camp, he's had a very tremendous camp and very much improved.
And if y'all remember, last year, we said he was a pretty athletic tackle. He was just young and raw.
Yeah.
And so now you see that. And to go back to something, Jaylen, you talked about last week, is that how good a shape these guys in. Jaylon Duncan looks great.
He looks great.
Yes. He is in some good shape. These guys really spent time in the offseason getting their bodies ready. One thing I told G Witt, J. Lou, was that after practice, how the defense runs. They run sprints after practice, right?
Yes.
That whole team ran, I wouldn't say sprints, because it's only like, 5 yards, 10 yards.
They was going back and forth.
The defense runs wild. They run. They actually run the whole the width of the field. And so, but yeah, Eddie, you're right, man. When he was at Maryland, he was a monster, and he looks good. So if there is an issue with Dan Moore, which I hope it wouldn't be, I think we'll be okay with Jaylon Duncan at this point. But let's talk about the receivers, J. Luke, man, because Alec Manor, man.
Yeah.
I was telling G Witt, I said, I don't know if you know what a big receiver looks like until you see this cat.
Man.
He's every bit of 6'2", 225. I think they got him listed at. This dude is huge.
He's huge.
And he's a 50-50 guy. And the way they described him, he was coming out, it is legit. He is a 50-50 guy to a T.
Yeah,
and he's gonna win the contested catches. We saw it. We saw it, J. Lou.
We did, and I know a lot has been made about his footwork in the ladder drill and how that translates. No, he's getting off the top of his routes. He's getting there. He made a catch yesterday that in a real game he takes the hit and probably still holds onto the ball just because of his big body. And Cam fit that ball in there perfect. I think I'm almost positive every catch he made yesterday was in traffic. And again, he's using his body. He's finding the holes in the zone as a rookie, at least in practice. And again, he's every bit of 6'2". He had a good day. Again, you hear about Prochet, and again, this is a guy that was on the team last year. I know he played some near the end of the year last year, but was a practice squatter for the most part. Yeah. He's probably going to make the 53. I'm be honest, just watching the receivers, you can unless something injuries you always got to put injury out there. But outside of that, you almost can name your 7 now, and it's going to be tough. I know everybody likes Restrepo. That's Cam's boy. He doesn't do anything different to differentiate himself. Now again, he's solid too. Again, if he can win the punt return job, you'll see, because I'm sure he'll get the opportunity. But when you look at strictly receiving skills, you got Bryce Oliver, who made a heck of a catch on a deep ball yesterday. You've got of course both rookies look good. You've got Prochet, and then you got the 3 vets who, I'll say this, Van Jefferson.
Yes,
he's a nice size receiver too. When you see him in person, and then Red's gonna be Red. Now again, you hope they get it out the way during training camp, but they had some drop balls yesterday that you don't want to see. Ridley dropped Ridley dropped the best pass that was thrown all day. It was easily a 60-yard touchdown, and it just butterfingered off his fingers.
On a dime.
The receiving core, watching these guys yesterday, this is actually, and Ed, I took this away from it. You actually, you always hear iron sharpens iron.
Mm-hmm.
There's times the receivers are beating the DBs, and then there's time with the DBs, they are in they're sticky coverage. And I mean, you got Brownlee Jr. I feel comfortable. I know we're talking about offense. I feel comfortable right now. I still want to see Snead out there because he's your one ace. But I mentioned it a couple weeks ago. I think the team is in a better position now to play without Snead, just by seeing some of the DBs they got now and what I saw in practice yesterday.
Yeah, because some of the, we talked about some of the undrafted guys that they picked up. Those guys have been impressive. What's his name? Jalen Kimber, Jamari Harris.
Yeah.
And the guy from Cal, and I can't think of his name right now, that they drafted later on and later in the draft. And so those guys have actually been playing pretty good. You saw some good reps out of them yesterday. Taylor wants to know what Cam's release time looks like on his read.
Yeah.
I mean, so I just put it this way, and me and Jay Lou could be biased, so I'm not going to tell you what we said. There was a guy standing in front of us.
Yes.
And he turns around and he looks at us. He's like, that ball is flying. So, I mean, it's like, so you've heard, as the reporters and the receivers in particular saying that you need to be in your spot when you need to be there because the ball is coming.
Yeah.
And so it is out on time every time. There's not a time that we saw yesterday. Maybe a couple overthrows.
Yeah.
But not many. But the ball is out. The ball is out. He's worked since the last open practice we went to, that progression, because he was holding the ball a little bit more then. You saw yesterday he was getting rid of it a little bit quicker. So go ahead, G. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I was just going to say, and I'm sure he is, because, again, the one thing they brag about Cam is the fact his work ethic and how he strives to improve and doesn't make the same mistake twice, and really works on things that he sees that he knows there are problems with. He's going to be a rookie, and I understand where Taylor's coming from. He's going to be a rookie. He's going to have his problem at the beginning of the season. But I think once he gets in a couple of real games in the regular season, you'll see his timing a lot better as far as getting the ball out. And he's already got a pretty good release. You've seen that in some of the highlight clips and everything. And he throws at a bunch of different arm angles. I know some of the pundits have been making cases about tip balls and things of that nature. I'm like, and everybody says the same thing. You're going to have tip balls. It's going to happen. The bottom line is, can you make the throws when you need to make the throws? And so far, he's been able to do that. So that's one thing I'm looking forward to seeing. Other thing, like you mentioned, Alec, the guy at Stanford, man, I'm looking forward to seeing him because my understanding is that, like you said, Ed, he's a physical freak as far as size-wise and everything, and being 50-50 type of guy, but also how he's very strong as far as blocking is concerned. Wants to get in there and be very physical with that. And that's something that you need, again, especially in the running game. You need, as much flack as they gave Corey Davis about being a blocking. One of the reasons why Derrick Henry had those long runs because Corey Davis was down the field blocking for him.
Oh, yeah.
So, the running backs, they need those blockers down the field, guys who are willing blockers, let me put it like that, and willing to get out there and actually get in front of somebody and knock them out the way so those guys can make those long runs. So really, that's one thing I'm looking forward to seeing as far as the offense is concerned. And, I heard some good things about Restrepo as far as the slot position is concerned, him figuring out the spaces in the zone and the man making his covers and everything. That's true, what you guys saying. I don't expect him to make the 53-man roster, in all honesty, unless it does it on special teams. But I am interested to see how they might be able to keep him as far as the practice squad play is concerned. I think that's what you're going to see about him and Mason Kinsey as far as that's concerned. Who's going to win that job? And as far as being on the practice squad and being able to play that slot position. And I just think his feet are probably going to be able to get something done. I don't know. I haven't been to a practice yet, so I'm just anxious to see what's going to happen this Saturday when they played the preseason game against Tampa Bay.
So I know you're finna go, Jay Lou. I know. Let me get this in real quick. Now I'll let you go. So I just want to get some more of these comments in. So Deion says we keep 8 receivers and Restrepo will have a spot, problem solved. Here's the problem with that. If you do that, what tight end are you gonna cut? Because you got 4 tight ends you can possibly keep. Probably a 5th on the practice squad. It just depends a lot. And the fact that Prochet, DeQuan Jackson, punt return, can Xavier play punt return? I don't know.
Yeah.
You got DK, that's a punt return. He did it in college. And so those guys and he's faster and he's bigger. And so those guys have a lot more positions that they can. I'm not saying that Xavier cannot. It's gonna be tough. And I agree with you, Deion. I think Josh Wiley's gonna be the man out as far as the tight end room. I just really do. Do. Darius says, what do we think about Cam out there? What are we seeing? Cam Ward is legit, Darius. No questions about it. Arm angles, the release, the timing, the presence in the pocket, the decision making. You hear him talking about him throwing picks. Okay, that happens. It's better to do it in camp. Somebody mentioned there, I think it was Eddie Gray mentioned about missing field goals. Better to do it in practice. That's what they're there for, to learn. And so, he's believe the hype, man, because it's all there and it's real, every bit of it.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So 2 things.
Yeah.
About Cam Ward. I think it was Eddie Gray or Taylor was asking. Just imagine a pitcher throwing a football instead of a baseball. That's how some of his angles look. Yes, it's seeing him in person. You literally would think that he's throwing a baseball and it's football, because he did have that yesterday where the way he can manipulate his angles to get through some traffic. Like he had one that we looked at. Yeah, it was the Ellick, and I was like, that ball shouldn't have got through that. Like if I'm the defense, I'm ticked off because there's no way that should have been a completed pass, but the way that he manipulated the release point was something. And then
he's got strong wrists.
Yes. And G-Wit, you love this one because me and Ed said it. Ellick would be a Mike Vrabel all-star because they had a drill that is based off cut blocking and hitting for run blocking on a machine.
The sled,
Yes, he by far, you can tell that he likes to block. Because he was hitting that machine like he was a lineman and looking forward to it. So I can't wait. And they mentioned that he likes to do cut blocks and crack blocks. So I can't wait till we see the first one of those.
You remember too, Jay Lewis.
Might be another Hines Ward for us on this one.
But in a bigger body.
In a bigger body, yeah.
In a bigger body.
But Jay Lee, you remember yesterday when they were doing short yardage, when they was coming out. Yeah. He has some good blocks, and you can't. I like I said, I don't want to get beyond what we're talking about here, but I don't know. I think we just got something there. We do. Yeah, I think we do.
I do.
You mentioned Bryce Oliver. So if you look at the receivers, the receiver room, let's do that because everybody. Okay, so we know Ridley, we know Lockett, we know Jefferson. I'm been really impressed with Van Jefferson so far. What I've seen out of him. Tyler Lockett, he makes his catches. He's working the short areas of the field mainly. He does some across the middle stuff as well. But you got those 3, right? You got Ridley, you got Lockett, you got Jefferson. And by the way, we talk about Ridley. Him and Brownlee got into it a little bit yesterday. And then he comes back, he burns Brownlee on a deep ball, 60 yards, and drops it.
Butterfingers right through.
One of the best throws of the day yesterday, beyond the Bryce Oliver one he hit, and I don't even know how the defender didn't even hit the ball. Yeah. I don't even know how Cam Ward got the ball in there, to be honest with you. I don't.
I got problems with these drops, though, man. I really do, because I saw it last year.
Yeah,
and I got problems with these drops, man, especially from him. Like you can't be you're the veteran on the team. You're the leader. You can't be having drops like that.
Yeah, and he was mad. Rightfully so.
Yeah, and it was a touchdown. Like that's a touchdown in the game.
Yeah.
Easily.
So you got those 3. You got DK, you got Elliott, right? That's 5, right? And so after that, you got Bryce Oliver. That's 6, right? Then where do you go? Because you got Prochet.
Prochet's ahead right now.
Yeah, Prochet's ahead. He's likely one of the returners, either kick return or a punt return, either one.
So that's 7.
That's 7. So then you have Jaquan Jackson, you have Restrepo, you have Sheffield, you have Mason Kinsey. And they cut the guy from the Raiders today or yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday.
And so and you got Matt Landers, which I don't think he's gonna make the team anyway. But anyway, so you got that's the ones who are fighting for, you know,
one
if they're
spot.
gonna keep 8. Yeah,
one spot.
And so I'm not saying I like Restrepo. I really do. I think he's a great player. It's the numbers game is going to be hard. That's the thing I see.
The numbers game and the fact that he only really is a true slot player. Yeah. One thing I'll say this about Lockett and y'all, and you probably, I mean, we didn't see a lot of Seattle, but you know of him. Mm-hmm. I tell you this, he is one. There's two things that stood out to me yesterday from the past game. I'll talk about the second one after Lockett. Lockett is going to be that veteran wide receiver that's going to find the spot in the zone, and he's going straight down. Like he's going straight on the ground every time he gets it, which is perfect. And the flip side of that, they did a lot of third down and maybe 6 or 7 yesterday. And I told Ed there were several times that the tight end, mainly Chig, instead of going straight to the sticks, we went a yard past the sticks G with every single time. Okay. And was picking up the first down. I mean, every single time.
So
and I know that, and I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
That's one thing they was talking about. I you know, again, I'm hearing the pundits and everything, they're complaining about it because the offense wasn't doing well against it. But I'm like, that was the main thing they were working for, because they recognized the fact that last year, third down in red zone is really what killed them.
Yep.
And so they're working on that, and which again, it goes. I think we have to go back to what we said earlier. You got a defense that's in the second year.
Yes.
So they're set. They know what to do. So, it's going to be hard for that offense, especially with a new quarterback and a rookie on top of that, to actually get to the point to where he can read it and make these plays, because everybody knows in the red zone and on third down, things happen a whole lot quicker.
Faster.
Yep.
That's right. You have got to be able to get the ball out. And with a rookie QB, you're going to have your mistakes there. You got to get ready for that. That's the reason why you don't get too high about Cam, even with all the great stuff he does, because he's a rookie. And rookies are going to struggle until they get used to the speed of the game. Now, being the competitor that I keep hearing that he is, I don't expect him to take as long to get ready.
Not at all.
After, I don't like I said, after a few games, I really
agree.
Look for him to be a whole lot better.
I agree with you. I agree. Yeah, Eddie Gray, I like Restrepo too. I really do. And I want him to make the team. I really do, man.
It's just hard.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. And I hope he does, because I think he'll be a great player. Yeah. I think he'll be a great slot receiver. Now, if we didn't have Tyler Lockett, I'd be like 100%. 100% easy. Yeah. But because we went out and signed a Tyler Lockett, that's a slot guy. That's his job. That's him. That's his role. Yeah. It's just going to be tough. But I hope he does, man. I really do. I think he'll be great for this franchise and Cam Ward going forward.
So go through the list of tight ends.
So that's what I was about to hit. that. So, because I'm going to tell you right now, G-Wet, Chig is in the contract. Yeah, we understand that, right? We understand there's more emphasis on the player to perform at a high level. But Chig he's doing well. He's run blocking, his routes, like Jay Lou said, he's running to the sticks or beyond for the first down. Now, after him, though, I'm going to say Gunnar Ham above Josh Whyle.
Easily.
It's
not even close.
It's not close. It's not. Look, I will say this. The tight ends are huge too.
Man.
These guys, I'm 6'4". These guys are towering over me. I mean, I'm like, good Lord. I'm about 240. I know they about 265, but I'm not no small guy. These guys are huge.
Yeah.
Right? But Gunnar Ham, you talk about route running, he made a catch yesterday. And I mean, he had to contort his body to come back to get it between some traffic. He's right now, he's number 2.
Yeah.
In my book, behind Chig. I think Josh Whyle is going to be the guy that's out. I really do. Because DMR, you heard him talk about the pads when they come on. You heard the physicality that he brings to the run game. I think he's your number 3 guy. And if they keep 7 or 8 receivers, I think that's what you got, those 3. That's my opinion.
I agree. DMR, to me, the one thing that he has the advantage over Wiley on is you saw him. He's much better on special teams.
Yes.
From the drill we saw yesterday, Wiley looked lost out there. I think you can get. I'm missing my guy. Last name start with an O.
Yeah.
He's going to make the practice squad.
Yes,
because
no doubt.
they automatically get an international waiver for him. So
Yeah.
you would assume he'd be on the practice squad. I don't see him keeping 3. I mean, I see him keeping 3. I didn't see 4 yesterday, unless they really are just the wild card in it. And I think DMR, this is where I give him the advantage. You don't have that inline blocking tight end when you look at a Chig or a Gunner, your top 2. So if you needed that one, I think you give DMR the slight advantage over Wiley over that.
Yeah.
But I as of right now, I could see him keeping 3 and maybe picking up another spot somewhere else, because that's when the number games start coming into an effect and see where you want to stay heavy at.
Yeah, and it's a decoy.
Yeah.
And so so that's my G Wit, and so that. I mean, that's the way I think it's gonna go. Thanks, Eddie Gray. You're right.
Yeah, thanks, Eddie Gray.
Well, they line Chig up in the slot in some package. We could see that.
So did we? Yeah, so there was some yesterday.
He did. You're right.
He started out. He would be in the slot, and they would motion away from, because there was at least 2. There was 2 concepts where he was the only receiver on that side. But you did see him and Gunner in the slot a lot. They wasn't on the line, even when they would go. The few times they went 12 personnel, those 2 were all. One of those 2 were off.
They went 12 personnel a lot yesterday.
Yeah, they did.
Shockingly. Right. Eddie Gray, I agree with you, man. Wiley has been underused. You got a big body guy that can run around. He's got a great catch radius, but he just hadn't been able to catch wind of this offense for whatever reason.
And be healthy.
The aspect of the game too is one of his problems.
Yeah, and like you said, he has an issue with, because he got banged up yesterday.
He did.
Didn't he end up holding his back?
He did.
I was like, oh man, here we go. Here we go for him. But yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting as this offense goes. Now, you talk about red zone. They struggled in the red zone yesterday.
Yes.
First play, they had a false start. Right,
Yes.
and they were beginning on the 30-yard line. Was it J. Lou 25?
Yeah, it was right. That was right to 20. Right at the high point of the because they ended up backing up to the 35.
Yeah, so they had a false start first play. Then they had 2 holding calls in a row.
Yep.
Right, and then they had to settle for a 35-yard field goal, which he made.
And one of the holding calls took away a explosive play in the red zone.
It did. And so they've got to fix those issues. They got to be able to score in the red zone. We can't be a team that's kicking field goals all the time. No. There's just too much firepower, in my opinion, on offense as we look at it right now, for them not to be scoring touchdowns when they get in the red zone.
You got to stop with the self-inflicted wounds.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Self-inflicted.
Self-inflicted penalties don't make any sense. I mean, especially on the offensive side of the ball. So, what you jumping for? I mean,
right. And it was the very first play.
Yeah,
the very first play of the period.
Yeah. The and then of course we had the 2 picks by Brandon Allen, gets picked off by Gabe Judy, Lally, and then Ali Gay, which you mentioned. Brandon Allen is easily QB2.
Easily
at this point.
So.
And that one of those picks, I think it was Gabe. That one was Jaquan being Jaquan.
Yes, tipped by his own receiver, right?
By his own receiver to the defender,
right? Yeah, and so easily, Tim Boyle, he made some good throws, but a lot of his throws were inaccurate. I'll say it that way.
Yeah.
But you could. I think here's the difference. Brandon Allen has been in Callahan's system.
That's it.
Yes,
so
and you can
have that experience, right?
You can tell.
It was really easy. But I like you said, we'll see. They got to score. They got to stop with their self-inflicted wounds. There was not any holding calls yesterday for the offensive line that I can remember.
Outside of the 2 in the red zone.
That's right. I'm sorry.
Outside of those 2, when they drove the field and all that.
Yeah.
And again, the offensive line, I thought, because again, you saw Denard, especially I think that second team period they came out when they were driving the field. He started mixing it up a little bit more, and the offensive linemen, when they were getting beat, they were at least pushing their defender around, and Cam was stepping up. Like, his pocket presence is night and day difference from what we saw last year. I mean, there was no drifting into the sacks, etc. But I thought the offense. And I'll be honest, I thought that the center. I thought Levine. I thought he's been holding.
He played well.
He's he's making it feel a little bit more comfortable. Now, there was some talk that they're going to try to get both of them guys off the PUP the week of the Atlanta practices. And I kept saying, if you can get them off the PUP then I feel good about them in week 1, because they probably wouldn't go through the joint practice and do some light work. But then if you're able to get them in the practice week leading into that Minnesota preseason game, then I feel comfortable about them for week 1. But they were both present yesterday working on the side field. It was reported.
Saw a big sweat on the bike.
He was getting sweat on the bike,
getting his in, and so
yeah.
So we'll see, man. It's got to go to Tampa Bay this week with joint practices. See how that holds up for those guys. These young guys, going to be good to see. This is going to be a good learning session for Cam Ward going against Todd Bowles' defense, which he brings a lot of different stuff to the table. It's going to be good for him to see that. He's one of the best in the business at this point.
Yeah.
And offensive line wise too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But it's going to be interesting with Todd Bowles, because remember, he was the one that really exposed Levis as far as not being able to handle the blitz and everything.
Yeah. Well, that was the week after, right? The week after the Falcons.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, and once he did that, everybody in the league did the same thing. It was like, oh my God, you're talking about copycats.
Yeah,
they don't waste time.
Right.
But no, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I haven't been to any practices. I'm looking forward to seeing the preseason game. Understanding that Cam won't play much, I don't think, but I'm interested to see how he does during the practices during the week. We'll be dependent on the news, on the reporters and everything for that. But at least I know that TD will give some good information and everything. So I'm looking forward to that. So
yeah. My bad, Ed. No, one thing we didn't mention, the rookie, second rounder.
They said he's been
Femi. You can see him improving. Now he of course he ran with the starters yesterday, and so you had him. There was a couple of times. I don't think Femi lost a one-on-one when they did the one-on-one drills. I don't remember him losing a one-on-one yesterday. And then when they were in team drills, he's really bringing some pressure off the ball. You could see, for the life of me, finally, I might not stroke out again this time either about them dropping the DN into coverage. Because you saw him do it yesterday, and he's got pass covering skills from playing linebacker. But I thought he looked good. And we mentioned about Big Jeff. You don't be surprised if you see Big Jeff line up over the tackles more times than not this year at the DN spot, because he was just, it was unfair out there. Literally watching him, it literally is unfair. Yeah, it's unfair watching him.
Well, when he's saying that they should double team, he's right.
Yeah, he's right.
They hadn't blocked him yet.
Yeah, he's telling the truth.
Could Femi be Freak 2.0? It's a possibility.
It's a possibility.
We'll
see. He can be like he can be Freak light, because he has the skill set right now, and he's very long when you see him in person.
Yeah. I remember they talked about him, and because they said Wilson is throwing everything at him. He said he's retaining extremely well. Yeah. And of course, his comment was, they're throwing the kitchen sink at me, and they got me doing everything. He said, but it's basically just football, so there's only so much they can throw at me.
Mm-hmm. It's all it is football.
Yeah. Once I figure it out, then I'm good to go. But again, he's another guy you're interested in seeing, because of the one thing he has, I'm going to say that we haven't had from an edge rusher, he has power.
Yes.
And that's a big difference with him. He's going to have power. He knows how to play the run, so you're worried. You got somebody who can make the tackles and everything. And like you said, that's the one thing they figured out at the Senior Bowl about him, is that he can drop in coverage and actually do some pretty good feet.
I'm going to tell you something else about him, is that he likes to talk too.
He does.
Him and Arden Key and Jim, they talk the whole practice. I mean, the whole practice. So, look, as long as they don't put Arden Key in coverage, they were doing a 907 yesterday, and he was playing the wheel linebacker position. As long as they don't do that, we good. Eddie Gray says we wish there was a second league to allow players to bake. That's what they're trying to do with the UFL. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we'll see. But that there is something possibly. Taylor said, who's running the ball? So Spears, he's looked good. Tony Pollard and Mullins in short yardage. Mullins is. It's gonna be tough for Chestnut. I know Chestnut's a special teams guy, but it's gonna be tough for him too.
Yeah, because Mullins didn't look bad at all. Like Chestnut ain't separating himself on special teams. And the drills that they ran yesterday, the team pretty had. Mullins did a very good job, both the blocking and everything.
And
they
covering.
had him in.
Yes.
And you know, one thing they said, and I thought it was the OC was talking about, the one thing that pleasantly surprised them about Mullins is the fact they didn't really get to see him run, you know, outside of the tape and everything, but the fact that he's got good feet and good vision.
Yeah.
And that's the thing they really are impressed about with him. So I'm looking forward to seeing him, especially after talking with Eddie about how well he played on special teams. And I'm like, well, you know, he's a former linebacker, so you know, tackling is not going to be a problem for him. So I'm interested to see how this is all going to play out, because you know, much as I like Chestnut is a straight north and south runner. If the hole is not in front of him, he's not going to make a big difference about that. So if Mullins has good enough feet to where he can get around and see the hole and got good vision, that's what I'm looking forward to. Plus, he's got good size. What is he, 6'2"?
Mullins?
Yeah,
226. Yep,
226. So I mean, you need a running back like that on your team. You know, especially you can get him if he's an angry runner. That's the one thing you really want.
We'll find out.
And
this week.
I think whatchamacallit probably is your practice squad back, Mims. Mims
looked
good yesterday.
He looked better than Jefferson.
He did.
Yeah, he scored, and I was telling G Witt J. Lou about Jackson Slater. Jackson Slater's gonna be a monster, and he's just sitting and learning right now. And he's going when it's time. Now he's talking about somebody baking. He's baking.
Man, he's baking. Yeah, you want Jackson Slater, like you hope Zeitler stays healthy all year long, and you don't have to use Slater at all. And just let him sit on the sideline and learn, because he had a pancake block on a drill where you're supposed to stay up, and it was it was on the screen. It was on the it was a touchdown. He sprung the run for a touchdown on the screenplay.
Joe Kane, man, thank you for joining us tonight. Let's see. Eddie Gray says we need a new Haynesworth KVB. Look, I'm gonna give a shout out to this guy, man. Drake Hendricks. That's my guy. You know, Pretty Drake is what they call him. So don't let him tell you otherwise, man. Appreciate you hopping in, brother. But yeah, I think the team is in good position right now, and we'll see how they progress this week as they get to see some more faces. You know, getting tired of hitting on each other now that they get another team to practice with. Eddie Gray says, unless the UFL signs an agreement with the NFL to serve, it won't work as far as their minor league. And I get that, but like Taylor said, they are putting people in camps. The Titans just signed one today on the defensive line. And so I'm not saying he's a lock, but we'll see. The Texans had somebody, they signed somebody to a couple years agreement. So we'll see what happens. Dion says, one thing he's loving about Cam is he's doing something I was begging for by Mariota Tannehill to do on that team. He's taking command of the offense and being the leader dog at the quarterback spot. That's
easily. Hey, that was after one drill yesterday, Dion. It was during the down period, and the offense had gotten the better of the defense. He was talking to everybody on the defense who would hear it in their face.
Who was he not talking to?
Was he not talking to? Like, it was, and then he's definitely going to be that leader and that dog on that offensive side that I don't think we've seen from the quarterback side in a while.
In a long while.
Even at the end, Jay Lee, before practice ended, and they lined up Joey Sly for a field goal, for a last second field goal.
Yeah.
And pushing the defense back because they were coming out there trying to talk to Joey. You know, he was pushing it back, like, no, get back. And we'll we got a quarterback and we got somebody special that'll be here for years to come, hopefully. Let's see. Drake says, I like the work and leadership from Cam. Hey, man, even after practice, though, we sat there, I don't know, Jay Lee, 15, 20 minutes? He was still throwing the ball. I mean, there's a lot of guys. And so, you know, it's the work ethic is definitely there.
Yeah. They definitely don't want that 3-14 taste again. That's for sure.
No.
You know, even after the day when Callahan goes on a rant and goes off on everybody, you know, I give the players credit because all of them say, yeah, you know, we went 3-14 last year. Nobody wants to bring that up. We don't even want to think about it. So,
and it wasn't just him.
Yeah.
No.
It was Jeff. It was Cody. It was a lot of them yelling, you know, getting into it. So they, you know, had some skirmishes today. And so you like that from a team that they're not settling for complacency.
Yeah.
Right. because it's time. It's time. Especially if we're gonna have this stadium open here in a couple years. You've got to turn this franchise around real quick.
Yes,
the quicks.
Okay, thank y'all again for joining us for another episode of Halftime Adjustments. Eddie Arnell, G with J. Lou.
Yes, sir.
Talking to y'all tonight, man. Another camp practice observation. Yeah, you're right. They have talent, but if nobody watches this, then it isn't sustainable. And so we'll see how it goes, man. There's at least another opportunity for people to get to work their craft, right?
Yes.
No matter if people are watching or not. But we'll see how it goes as it moves along, man. But appreciate y'all again, man. Thank y'all for joining us. The comments, the questions, support of the show, man. Check us out next week. We'll be back. We'll talk about that Tampa Bay game, see what we learn. Cat wasn't even here, but he acted like he got me. That's good though. Hey. That's what you want, man. That's what you want. Yeah, check us out next week, man. We'll talk about the Tampa Bay game. The game's on Saturday. Is that right? Saturday. August the 9th. Yeah.
6 o'clock.
At 6 o'clock, and we'll see what if we can see any improvements. We'll see how much they play the ones, and see what Callahan does, because Callahan's year 2, right? His play calling, and so we'll see.
Yeah.
If he gets better. He let Holtz call some yesterday. We saw that. And so I'm not saying that's what he's going to do going forward, but he did get a chance to mix it up. And I think those plays. No, that was an unscripted period when they were doing that one. And so we'll see. It's very young in the season so far, man. We've only had a week of pads, 2 week of camp, and here we are with the Buccaneers coming up this week for a young football team. But thank y'all again for joining us, man. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't. Turn those notifications so you know we go live. We're on Facebook as well. Also streaming on Twitch at the same time, so you can catch us on all 3 of those platforms, if you will. But Eddie Arnell, G with J. Lou. Halftime Adjustments. We out here, man. Peace.
Peace.